3Com Park in San Francisco for the 49ers 1999 home opener against their NFC Western Division rivals, the New Orleans Saints. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Fox NFL Sunday. Kenny Albert along with Tim Green. Last week in Jacksonville, 49ers suffered an embarrassing loss, their worst regular season loss in 19 years. Tim, how can they bounce back?
Well, they can bounce back, and they have to bounce back because I think this is a critical game for the 49ers psyche. They've been telling themselves and everyone else who will listen that last week's game was an aberration. It was a fluke. Steve Young told me this week he was so mad with his poor performance last week he couldn't even speak after the game. Now, the good news for Young is he's played some of his best football against the New Orleans Saints. In the last 8 games, he's thrown 19 touchdown passes and only 1 interception. But, hey, Steve Young's going to need some help today from his offensive line. Those guys are going to have to break free.
San Francisco when we return. The 160th consecutive sellout for the 49ers here at 3Com Park. As we get set to kick things off, first a look at the early scores. Miami with a 3-point lead over Arizona. Detroit by 8 over Green Bay, both late in the fourth quarter. A final from Philadelphia. Buccaneers win their first game of the year. And how about Washington? 35 points in a loss last week, 50 in a win today. Oakland leading Minnesota. And Seattle coming from behind. They lead Chicago by 6. 49ers have won the toss. R.W. McQuarters from the 12. Brings it out across the 30. McQuarters still on his feet. Finally forced out of bounds at the 39-yard line by Fred Weary. A 26-yard return by McQuarters. Today's game is available in Spanish by utilizing your SAP button on your television. Steve Young, poor performance last week in the 41-3 loss in Jacksonville, leading the 49ers offense out onto the field for their first possession. And they begin from the 38-yard line. Charlie Garner, Tommy Vardell are the backs, 2 wide receivers. And this is Garner on first down, and he is wrapped up immediately by the linebacker Keith Mitchell. A loss of 2 for Garner. San Francisco's offense, only 205 total yards, 11 first downs last week. Young with one of the worst games of his career. The men protecting Young, Fiore with Brown, Dahlman, Deese, and Newberry. Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens are the wide receivers, and the tight end Chad Fenn in for the injured Brett Clark. On second down, Young to Rice. Rice caught only 2 passes last week, and he is wrapped up by former 49er Tyrone Drifford. Saints defense did a terrific job last week in their victory over Carolina. Smith, Glover, Martin, and ex-Niner Troy Wilson starting for Jared Tomich. Mitchell, Bordano, and Mark Fields. And the secondary, Drakeford and the newcomer Ambrose are the quarterbacks with Rob Kelly and Sammy Knight. 49ers only 1 third down conversion last week. 4 wide receivers, and Young makes the connection with Mark Harris, who fumbles. It's picked up by Owens, but the 49ers will have to punt.
The 49ers came into this game wanting Kenny to win the ball, to run the ball with regular people. But I think they're going to have to go to these kinds of formations. 4 wide receivers, as on this play right here, 3 wide receivers. I mean on first and second down. They came out in regular people, and they got themselves in a hole. I think they need to put the 3 wides out there, their best people on the field, if they're going to win this game today.
And the ruling on the last play, Tim, an incompletion. No fumble. And Chad Stanley, who leads the NFC in punting after 1 week. Bad snap. Here's Stanley, and he's taken down at the 25-yard line. A rookie free agent, Joe Zelenka, out of Wake Forest, is the long snapper. And this will set up tremendous field position for the Saints on their first possession.
And the Saints special teams coming up big again. Kenny, last week they returned to fumble for a touchdown. Here they helped to bring this botch punt down. right here, giving the Saints offense great field position. Saints special teams led by Bobby April, one of the best in the business. Those guys are always ready to make a big play.
Billy Joe Hobert and the Saints go to work from the 49ers 25. The pitch back to Ricky Williams, who fumbles. Ball still loose, and it looks like the 49ers have it. They do.
How many scouts around the National Football League right now are saying, "I told you so," regarding Ricky Williams' hands? Very small hands, and people felt, hey, he's going to have trouble holding on to the ball in the National Football League. It's a simple toss play. I know he's uptight, he's anxious. He's got to hang on to that ball, though. Mike Ditka's team can only win if they win the turnover battle. If you're going to run the ball, play tough defense, play ball control, you cannot lose the turnover battle.
Lee Woodall recovered the fumble. So the 49ers back to work from their own 33. Young to the end. On first down, he lost control, and it's another incompletion.
Yeah, Brady Smith, who did an incredible job last week against the Carolina Panthers, was right in Steve Young's face. He's rushing over Dave Fiore from the right side. He just gets up right up underneath Fiore's pads, lifts him and drives him right back. Here he is right here. Watch Brady Smith work. Look at him. He comes upfield. He gets his pads low, and watch the drive. And there's the hand. He brings the hand up and knocks that ball right back. Brady Smith with 2.5 sacks last week, replacing, one of the dominant defensive linemen in the league, Joe Johnson.
3 wideouts on 2nd and 10. Connor, big hole up the middle. First down and more. He fumbles. And the Saints have recovered, but was Goddard down by contact.
Hey, I've got to tell you something. Something is going on with the football. Don't tell me that it's not, because everyone's dropping it, everyone's slipping it. If you look at the infield, you see the infield's all the dust, but what they've got out there is they sprayed it down. So I think that ball is coming off of the dirt, and I think there's a mixture of mud and dirt and water on it that's making that ball slippery and slimy. Look at it, it just popped right out of there, out of Garner's hands.
And Garner was ruled down by contact, so a first down from the 49. Quick drop, pump fake, and the pass is caught. Close to another first down. J.J. Stokes, a gain of 9.
And this is what they need to do, Kenny. Pitch it, catch it, and run. Last week, offensive production, miserable. Only 11 first downs. Look at that on 3rd downs. 1 for 14, 205 yards, and then here it is. Turnover battle. Big -4 in the turnover category.
And they committed another turnover on special teams for a total of 5. The fullback, Tommy Vardell, and he's hit for a loss.
See, I don't think the 49ers, again, we're back to this regular people thing. I don't think they're going to be able to run like that against the Saints defense. Saints on that one, they're going to play an 8-man front. They committed their safety. They ran him up. Sammy Knight, they brought him up from the deep in the field. You're going to see him coming right here. So there's a man in every gap. They're very aggressive. You see that? They're controlling the line of scrimmage, and they're shutting down the 49ers run game.
A wild first 4 minutes, 2 fumbles, and a bad snap. 4 wide receivers, 3rd down and 4. And Young is taken down. Keith Mitchell with his first sack of the season.
Hey, they just beat him with the blitz. The 49ers offensive line is not in sync. They weren't in sync last week against Jacksonville. Jacksonville blitz, look at it here. Here comes Mitchell. Here they come, all of them up the middle. There's more guys than they can block, and they look totally disorganized.
So now Zelenko will try and redeem himself. A rookie free agent long snapper, a rookie free agent punter. And Eddie Kennison, the former Ram, is back deep for New Orleans. End over end. Kennison lets it go, and it takes a 49er bounce, stays out of the end zone, pinned inside the 5. 48-yard punt by Stanley. So the Saints for the offense from deep in their own territory. Back in San Francisco, Saints have run only 1 offensive play. The pitch back from Billy Joe Hobert was fumbled by Ricky Williams. And now the Saints back to work. Early first quarter. from their own 5-yard line.
They need to get it right back into Ricky Williams' hands. Get that monkey off his back. It looks like a pass play.
Holbert from the end zone, airing it out, and he overthrows the intended receiver, Eddie Kennison. Eddie Kennison and the tight end, Cam Cleland, making his return. On second down, Ricky Williams bottled up. Gabe Wilkins was the first Niner to wrap up Ricky Williams. Wilkins, the ex-Green Bay Packer, joined on the front four by junior Bryant Young, who came back last week from his broken leg in Marvin, Washington. Norton, Tubbs, and Woodall. And the secondary, big question mark last week for the 49ers.
Well, the one bright spot for the 49ers last week in that drubbing by Jacksonville was their run defense, and we saw a little bit of it on that last play. 8 men up, blitzing, getting in the gaps.
Holbert from the end zone hands it off to the fullback Kramer, and he gives the Saints some breathing room, but not nearly enough for the first down.
That we will test those cornerbacks deep.
Tommy Barnhart, 5 yards deep in his own end zone. R.W. McQuarters in single safety for the 49ers. Nearly blocked. McQuarters. And he is taken down by Gerard Cherry. Only a 1-yard return, 30-yard punt by Barnhart.
Not so.
Oakland gets to go home and take on Chicago next week.
Mike Ditka and Steve Mariucci, both in their 3rd seasons as head coach of their respective clubs. Mariucci and the Niners have won all 4 head-to-head meetings over the last 2 years. 49ers from their own 39. Young pump fakes and is taken down. Mark Fields with the 2nd sack of the game for the Saints.
Kenny, this play for the New Orleans defense begins with the coverage. They do a great job. Tyrone Drakeford right here in the front of the screen. He does a great job of covering up Jerry Rice. See, Steve Young wants to throw it to Rice, but he can't. And then that aggressive front 7 takes over. Watch Mark Fields. Here he comes right up the middle with Keith Mitchell right beside him. All 3 linebackers came on that play.
7 sacks for the Saints last week, 2 so far today. A loss of 4, 2nd and 14. Young to Phillips. Lawrence Phillips taken down by Keith Mitchell after a gain of 5.
I'll tell you what, Steve Young got stoned on that play by Wayne Martin. The 49ers offensive line has got to give him more protection than they are right now. Watch Wayne Martin. Watch him come right through, right over the top of Derek Deese. No, it wasn't Martin. It was Troy Wilson. Wilson just sticks Steve Young right in the face. You don't want to see that if you're Steve Mariucci.
4 wide receivers, 3rd and 9. Young over the middle. Phillips, first down and more. And he was finally caught from behind by Mark Fields after a 17-yard gain.
You know what? Troy Wilson got him again, though. But this is what you expect from Steve Young. This is what he didn't do last week in Jacksonville. Here comes the rush. Here comes the pressure when it looks like all is lost. Look at this guy. This is what he does so well. He makes a quick decision, zip, gets the ball out of there to his check down, and then Lawrence Phillips takes over.
That's good.
17 yards on the play. 1st and 10 from the Saints 21. Charlie Garner back in the game. And Young slipped. He still was able to hand it off to Garner. Still on his feet. Forced out at the 10.
And the 49ers are saying, here we go, boys. This is 49er football. This is Steve Young's magic. He slips and falls, but somehow he still gets the handoff. He gets the ball into Garner's hands, and Garner shows great presence of mind and then excellent running ability. Look at the twists and the spins. You better hang on tight when you bring Charlie Garner down.
Garner went and took it from him.
Look at that. That was great.
Heads up play by Garner.
Absolutely. Making something out of nothing.
1st and goal. J.J. Stokes. Out of bounds at the 5. JJ says who, me?
Well, that was actually a nice play by Tyrone Drakeford, because they're going to complete those passes on you. That's the 49er offense. Steve Young's going to zip it out there to Stokes and Owens and Rice. And when he does, if you're a cornerback, you have to recover, keep your cool, come up and make the play. And although Drakeford doesn't bring him down, he uses the sideline as help in defense. And there you see it right there, stepped out of bounds.
4 straight completions for Young. 2nd and goal from the 5. Another quick slant. Terrell Owens, touchdown!
Oh, man. Remember Bo Jackson and Brian Bosworth? The famous battles at the goal line. This time, it's Rob Kelly and Terrell Owens, and Terrell Owens just wins the physical battle. Same play. Here it is, just a pitch, catch, look at it, wham. Puts his shoulder down, runs right through Rob Kelly. Terrell Owens has it all. I mean, he's got speed, look at the power.
First touchdown of the season for the 49ers, who were held to a field goal last week. Wade Ritchie out of LSU connects on the extra point, and the Niners strike first. Just over 6 minutes remaining, first quarter, 7-0 San Francisco.
Good evening. I know, license and registration. Curtain.
This is Davis. Davis across the 30 to the 33-yard line. A 27-yard return. Reggie Givens brought him down. Well, we mentioned earlier, Steve Mariucci 4-0 against Mike Ditka by an average score of 29-7. The last 2 seasons, including 2 shutouts. Ricky Williams on the pitch back, and he is hit for another loss. 2 carries, negative yardage on both, this time -4.
Hey, that's beautiful play by Mark McMillan, the cornerback. He took so much heat last week. He got beat several times by Jimmy Smith, the Jacksonville wide receiver. This time, on this play, he's asked to play run support. Watch him come up and get involved in the run game. Look at this. Watch him take Ricky Williams out right at the legs. I tell you what, he may be little, but he's tough. He's tough. He'll keep coming at you.
Hobert to Kennison. Close to first down yardage.
Stuff right here. You see the wet areas here in the dirt? They sprayed it down with a big fire hose before, and I think when the ball gets in that area, it's going to be slippery. That's what the Saints have to travel through on their way to the end zone. You know, players hate that infield. It's one of the worst things about playing in Candlestick is that infield. It's hard, it's dusty, it's dry, so they wanted to take some of the dust away, so they sprayed it down, but now it makes the ball slippery.
Just one of the reasons opponents hate playing here. Williams, his first carry for positive yardage, and he was wrapped up by former Saint Winfred Tuff. 44 snaps last week, more than Steve Mariucci expected. 2nd and 7. The delayed handoff to Williams, and he works his way up to the 50-yard line. Good second effort by Ricky Williams to gain 4.
I think if the Saints are going to have success running the football, they're going to need to run it to the perimeter. They're going to have to get to the outside and stay away from the interior of the line where Bryant Young, that's his domain. Bryant Young, Junior Bryant, they do a nice job of disrupting the inside area, but this inside area here, that happens to also be Ricky Williams' favorite spot to run the football.
3rd down and 3. Hobert's pass is caught by the fullback, Aaron Craver, who reaches forward. He saw the first down marker, and it will be very close. Good heads-up effort by Craver as he was falling out of bounds.
It's nice defensive play by the 49ers linebackers. Come up, converge. Lance Schulters is on him. It's going to be close. This is an area where you can almost see Mike Ditka going for it. And you want to run the football. You've got a big, powerful offensive line. Bunch of first-round draft picks. Big Wally Williams, free agent from Baltimore. You got Ricky Williams. If you've really got a power game, this is where you win the battle. You know, Mike Ditka really goes against all convention. The game in the NFL today is passing. It's a passing game, and Ditka's saying, nope, not with us. We're going to run the football.
2 tight ends. And the play is blown dead. Timeout, 49ers.
Well, Kenny, Joe Wesley, a rookie from the practice squad, filling in for Lee Woodall, who's got a hip pointer, and Anthony Peterson, Woodall's normal backup, has got a hamstring problem. Wesley not in on that last play. That's why the 49ers had to call timeout.
4th and inches. Holbert on the quarterback sneak and has the first down.
I like it. I like the distraction. You take your power runner, Ricky Williams, and you send him in motion. And what that does is it creates doubt in the mind of every 49er defender up and down the defensive line. They're saying to themselves, wait a minute, what is going on here? It's 4th and 1. We know they're going to run, but all of a sudden they send this guy out. There goes their runner. What are they going to do? So it creates the indecision, and that split second of indecision gets the Saints the first down.
Lee Woodall back in the game for the 49ers. Wesley out. Play fake to Williams. And Holbert down to the 35-yard line as Aaron Craver picks up 11.
A few weeks ago, and it was a very emotional time for him. He played tight last week. This week so far, he's playing with a nice rhythm.
Ricky Williams up the middle. Down to the 31, a gain of 4. Ken Norton Jr. brought him down.
So his numbers right now aren't spectacular. Remember, he's still feeling his way in this game.
Here's Williams again. And he told us yesterday with regard to his ankle, if it were 2-hand touch, I would be 100%.
So the thing with an ankle like that, though, is he had the one injury, and it was a high ankle sprain. And then he went in last week, and you see the brace that he's got. He went in last week, and he sprained it again, but it was a different sprain. It was a low ankle sprain on another ligament in the ankle. Very frustrating for this young man. I mean, he's soft-spoken, he's shy, he's got a lot to prove to himself and everyone else.
3rd and 3. The play fake to Williams, and then Charles Haley in Holbert's face. Forced Billy Joe to throw it away. And penalty markers on the play.
You know, on that play there, Kenny, we saw one of the things that Mike Ditka likes most about Billy Joe Hobert. He's in a bad situation, and instead of taking a sack, instead of throwing an interception, he somehow scrambles out and gets that ball to a receiver, gives him a chance for the first down downfield. He's scrappy. You see the power in his arm here. He only has time to just give a little sidearm chuck of that. He's able to get it out to Eddie Kennison.
Phil Luckett is our referee.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. San Francisco, number 51. Dead ball personal foul. New Orleans, number 34. These are offset dead ball fouls. We will now play 4th down.
Ken Norton Jr. and Ricky Williams offsetting personal fouls.
Well, one thing a veteran like Ken Norton wants to do with a young guy like Ricky Williams is to try to intimidate him. You see Norton just came up, and that's all you see. You didn't see what Ricky Williams did to Norton. You certainly saw what Norton did to Ricky Williams. Took him right off his feet.
And a fake field goal. Tommy Barnhart, the punter, with the handoff, and another first down for the Saints. Barnhart lined up as the quarterback with the handoff to Lamar Smith. And the Saints with their second fourth down conversion. They trail the 49ers 7-0. Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
Hi.
Hi.
Let's launch it, Slim. We talked about this all week. We got to stick with the game.
Second quarter in San Francisco. Some trickery from Mike Ditka as the holder, the punter, Tommy Barnhart, lined up as the quarterback, and the Saints are 2 for 2 on fourth down this drive.
Fourth down and short. Exactly what you'd expect from Mike Ditka and his crew. You want to play hard-nosed football? That's it. 4th and 1, go get it.
Hobert, chased by Wilkins, throws it away.
Just keep the drive alive. First with a little misdirection and the quarterback sneak, and then with the fake field.
Hobert on second down, fires. The catch is made by Eddie Kennison at the 2-yard line.
For anyone wondering whether or not Billy Joe Hobert can throw the ball, take a look at this play. Wow. Look at this. This is a perfect pass. Little post pattern by Eddie Kennison, and Hobert just drills it in there. I mean, look at the coverage. The coverage is not bad. Darnell Walker over the top. The safety's right there. Lance Schulters. Hobert threads that ball in perfectly. Great pass.
Darnell Walker is the injured 49. Early second quarter in San Francisco. 49ers lead 7-0, but the Saints with first and goal on the 2. A 65-yard drive so far.
And most of those yards in the air. 49ers defense looking good against the run, but the Saints starting to find the soft spot in the pass deep.
Williams. No gain. Ken Norton Jr. made the stop.
This is a tough area in here for the New Orleans Saints to get anything. Look, there's Bryant Young right there, and look at the surge that he gets. Look at the nice job Winfred Tubbs and Ken Norton do. There's Junior Bryant. These guys are good. That's their strength of their defense, their run defense, especially right in the center. It starts with Bryant Young.
15th play of the drive. Second and goal. Hobert. Kennison. Touchdown, New Orleans.
That's it. That's the weak spot. New Orleans wants to run the football. We've seen them try to run the football. The 49ers defense isn't going to have anything to do with it. But put Kennison on R.W. McQuarters, and now the Saints find a matchup that they can win.
Kennison's 4th catch of the game, his first touchdown of the season. He had only one the last 2 years with the Rams. And now former 49er Doug Bryant, who missed an extra point last week, nails this one, and we are tied at 7.
And I got to tell you, Kenny, right now, Billy Joe Hobert's numbers are as good as Steve Young.
Kenny Albert, Tim Green back in San Francisco, where the 49ers have won 17 consecutive regular season home games, tied at 7, early second quarter. As Doug Bryant picks it off. R.W. McQuarters from the 2-yard line. McQuarters cuts right and takes it out to the 21, 19 yards on the return. Dino Filyaw brought him down. '49ers and the Saints tied at 7 as we welcome you back, and 49ers quarterback Steve Young trying to erase the memories of Jacksonville. Good first quarter.
Yeah, Steve Young looks like he's back to himself. He's scrambling, eluding the rush, throwing very precisely to his wide receivers. But there's another guy out here who looks like Steve Young, and that's the Saints quarterback, Billy Joe Hobert.
Charlie Goddard on first down, and he is met in the backfield by Brady Smith.
Kenny, I said that Hobert looks like Young, not only in his statistics, but the way that he's done it. Look how even these guys are. I mean, that's almost identical. each 6 for 8. Hobart with 50 yards, Young with 43, each of them with a touchdown, and each of them making good decisions, avoiding the other team's aggressive defensive fronts.
Loss of 3 yards on the previous play. Second down and 13 as Young looking for Rice. Incomplete, and Young took a hard hit again, this time from Sammy Knight, the strong safety.
I will tell you this, Steve Young came into this season feeling very healthy and very good. But if he continues to be pounded the way the Saints have pounded him, the way the Jacksonville Jaguars pounded him last week, watch Sammy Knight. Look at him. Here he comes. He comes absolutely untouched. Steve Young cannot hold up throughout this entire football season.
Young has been sacked twice, hit hard at least 3 other times. 3 wide receivers, 3rd and 13. Young's pass is caught by Garner.
Look at him. Man.
First down, 49ers.
Charlie Garner's a beautiful thing. Hey, great blitz pickup by the 49ers offensive line on that one. Those guys can slap each other high five for that. And Steve Young's clapping. He should be. Look at this protection. Here they come. Here comes the blitz. You see linebackers, they send 5. Steve Young has plenty of time. He reads the pattern. He reads the coverage. Look at Charlie Garner.
He needed 13. He gained 14. Garner, this time on the ground. Cutting it to the outside, and once again, Brady Smith was right there.
You know, everyone talks about Brady Smith. He showed up last week because he had 2.5 sacks. He's already had a sack this week, but I like this guy against the run. Look at the leverage he gets. Gets up underneath Chad Fan, gets underneath Tommy Vardell, the fullback. They got 2 49er players out there to block him. Smith sheds them both and makes the play.
Brady Smith, the son of a former 49er, Steve Smith, played for the Niners back in the late 60s. Loss of 2 on the play, 2nd and 12. 3 wideouts. Play fake, Young firing downfield. Incomplete. The intended receiver, Jerry Rice, shrugging his shoulders, asking where is the penalty flag.
There was a day when Jerry Rice would have gotten that flag. Tyrone Drakeford does an outstanding job of running with Jerry Rice. He reads it, he says, okay, here it is, it's a fade, and now it's a foot race, and there's Drakeford.
Drakeford, who used to go up against Jerry Rice every day in practice. He spent 4 years with the Niners. Rice 2 receptions last week, 1 so far today. Young on 3rd and 12. Troy Wilson, 3rd sack of the game for New Orleans. And it's another former 49er, Wilson, who won a Super Bowl with San Francisco in 1994.
Hey, this is just mano a mano. Man-to-man, Troy Wilson versus Jeremy Newberry. Wilson with a little more experience. Newberry, a tough, mean, physical guy, but he's still young. He's still young, and Wilson runs right around him.
Eddie Kennison, who scored the Saints touchdown, awaiting Chad Stanley's punt. Nearly blocked. And a fair catch call for Kennison, lets it go, and then pounces on it at the 35-yard punt by Stanley. Saints back to the offense when we return, tied at 7. May return.
Well, the 49ers have rotated their cornerbacks all week in practice. Rotating Mark McMillan and Darnell Walker, bringing in Craig Newsome, the acquisition from the Green Bay Packers, and R.W. McQuarters. Newsome and McMillan out there right now.
1st and 10 Saints from their own 39-yard line. They scored on a 15-play drive just moments ago. Hobart with loads of time, bubbled and dropped by Ricky Williams.
Time in practice with Newsome and McQuarters.
2nd down, Ricky Williams up to the 42-yard line, gains 3. And right now for a Fox NFL.
7 victories at home over Green Bay. Back to Kenny Albert and Tim Green.
What an incredible story for the Detroit Lions to get on that run and beat a team like the Packers to be 2-0 without Barry Sanders.
And they beat Mike Holmgren Seahawks last week. Penalty markers as Keith Poole was wide open, breaks free.
It's a live play.
And Poole takes it all the way, 58 yards into the end zone.
I believe that the penalty is going to be offside by Charles Haley.
Offside defense, number 94. The penalty is declined. Touchdown.
Great presence of mind between Billy Joe Hobert and I think his favorite target, Keith Poole. These two guys hooked up last week to help beat the Carolina Panthers. They make adjustments on the run. Willie Roaf does a nice job of defending his quarterback, keeping Charles Haley off, and watch Poole. He comes up, he's being covered by Craig Newsome. He puts a double move on him. No, that's just speed. I mean, he catches the ball. Newsome takes a poor angle, and Keith Poole, you know, it's funny, talking to Ditka yesterday, he said if any one of their guys can outrun Keith Poole or Eddie Kennison, I'll give them a gold medal.
Only a silver medal on this play.
Or the bronze.
Mom.
Lead for the New Orleans Saints. R.W. McQuarters from the 9-yard line. Cuts to the outside and spins to the 29. A 20-yard return. Lawrence Dawsey made the stop. Keith Poole first among all active NFL players, averaging over 23 yards per reception.
Kenny, I said they hooked up last week. Here it is again. There's Poole with the catch and the speed. 67-yard touchdown reception last week. And there's a great chemistry between Keith Poole and Billy Joe Hobert.
Keith Poole was Jake Plummer's favorite receiver at Arizona State.
Yeah, Jake Plummer, now Terry Bradshaw's favorite quarterback. Hey, maybe Billy Joe Hobert could get in on the action.
Catch is made by Terrell Owens, and he is wrestled down by Ashley Ambrose, just shy of a first down.
Well, one thing you know with the 49ers, their offense is back in sync. Steve Young is back to himself, and this is going to be a great battle. The thing that you didn't expect, really, was for the New Orleans Saints to go after the weakness of the 49ers defense, because all they've said all week long is, we're going to run, we're going to run, we're going to run. We built this team to run, but hey, if you find a weakness in other defense, you got to go get it.
Penalty marker on 2nd and 1 as Garner picks up the first down, but a penalty flag on the play.
I think it's going to be on Leroy Glover. And one of the things Glover likes to do is he likes to get very tight to the football, and he likes to anticipate the count. This is one of his strengths. He gets into deep in the opposing backfields by getting close and anticipating. The problem is there's no margin for error. There was. Nice hard count by Young. Just enough to draw Leroy Glover off.
So a first down for the 49ers from their own 43. Young to the end on first down, and the catch is made by Lawrence Phillips. Stays on his feet into New Orleans Saints territory. Another 49ers first down, a gain of 14 on Phillips' third catch of the afternoon.
Again, Steve Young, just like Chris Collinsworth said he would be, he's back to Steve Young. Here comes the pressure. Watch how he eludes the rush. He feels the pressure. He's going through his reads right now. He doesn't see a wide receiver. He steps up, dumps it off to Lawrence Phillips, and then Phillips shows you something right there.
Phillips, the offensive MVP in NFL Europe, coming back from the concussion he suffered last week. Young, pump fakes, looking for Owens, who came back to make the catch.
this guy has it all, he's got it all. I think Steve Young got overexcited. Owens was so wide open, or maybe the ball got tipped. Watch how he comes back to scoop that ball up off the turf. That is incredible.
22-yard pickup.
He is so talented. He is so, I hate to see him come off the field.
Replaced by J.J. Stokes. First down on the Saints 21. With Tommy Vardell leading the way. Here's Charlie Garner.
There he goes.
Out of bounds at the 14, a gain of 7.
Look out. I think the best way to bring Garner down would be with like a boomerang, you know, throw it at his feet, because if you try to hit him up high, he'll shed you, he'll spin. Look at the moves. Look at the change of direction.
What did you say last week? He reminded you of a video game?
He really does, because that's the only other time you see guys spinning around like that and making something out of it. Most running backs, when they spin, they lose their forward momentum and they're easier to bring down. Garner just spins like a whirling dervish.
Garner on 2nd and 2, first down and more. Turn for the Saints 3.
Well, Charlie Garner is doing an outstanding job running the football, Kenny, but this 49ers offensive line gives him a beautiful hole. Watch this thing open up right here. Look at the blocking there. There's a nice block by Tommy Vardell on Winford Tubbs. Garner with 38 yards on 7 carries.
First and goal. Stokes in motion. Young's pass is caught by Jerry Rice out of bounds at the 1.
Well, Steve Mariucci has done what he said he was going to do. Earlier in the game, I said, hey, I'd like to see him do more 3 wides, more 4 wides. He's stuck with his regular personnel. He's mixed some 3 and 4 wides in, but for the most part, this offense has been able to put on 2 scoring, well, presuming this will be a scoring drive, 2 scoring drives with his regular personnel, a mixture of run and pass, but they've done it with Tommy Vardell and Chad Fan, the fullback and the tight end, in the game.
The Saints have called timeout.
And most people saw the incredible interview that Terry Bradshaw did with Brett Favre on the pregame show. For anyone who didn't see it, a poignant, moving interview, and you should get it on tape.
Tommy Vardell, touchdown.
This is just the kind of football you want to see on a bright sunny day in the Bay Area. 2 teams going at it. A little dive play by Vardell. He tucks up behind Big Ray Brown and Dave Fiore. They get just enough push on the line of scrimmage for Vardell to score. So Vardell not only with a touchdown run, but a nice block on the play before it.
They called him touchdown Tommy at Stanford. He reached the end zone 12 times at only 50 carries the last 2 years with the Lions, as the 49ers have tied the score at 14.
Randy Moss in the Minnesota Vikings passing game. They've got some young cornerbacks. They're going to have to step it up if the Pack's going to get back on track against the Vikings.
Randall Cunningham 364 yards in the air today, but the Vikings lost to Minnesota. Lito Filion ran into his own man as he brought the kickoff back out. And Joe Wesley, whom you spoke of earlier, out of LSU, elevated from the practice squad this week, was also there.
Yeah, Jim Moore, the defensive coordinator, said they had to talk Joe Wesley out of leaving. Early in training camp, he said he'd had enough, was ready to leave. Rick Smith, the linebackers coach, had to go to him and convince him to stay. That the 49ers had plans for him. I bet he didn't know they had plans this big, this fast.
Ricky Williams, big hole.
What the Saints have done in the previous drive is they have forced the 49ers defense to respect their passing game. If you respect the passing game, you have to move your safeties off to help in coverage, play the run with 7 men, and that could sometimes open up the running game. What we saw from Ricky Williams on that play, Kenny, was great speed acceleration hitting the hole.
8-yard gain, his longest of the day. 2nd and 2. Williams again, this time up the middle, has the first down.
Won a game against the 49ers as the coach of the New Orleans Saints.
Williams, as the Saints keep it on the ground, and Ricky picks up 6.
I'll tell you, Aaron Craver did an outstanding job lead blocking for Ricky Williams on that play. A nice hole opened up. It only opens up for a brief second, but as we said, we've already seen that Ricky Williams has the speed and the acceleration. Watch it. Here's Craver, nice block on the linebacker, and that's all Ricky Williams needs. He'll take a little Fisher and turn it into a gap.
Second down and 4. Hobart faked the pitch back to Williams, hands it off to the fullback Craver, and he was met by Tim McDonald.
You know, you got to use that passing game. You know, the run's going good, and they got the run going, but it's time. It's time to mix it up a little bit, get that passing game going, put the pressure on those 49ers cornerbacks. They don't have their confidence back yet. Danny Abramowitz, the offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints.
Saints shuffling at the line, 3rd and 5. Hobart looking over the middle, broken up. Broken up beautifully by the second-year safety, Lance Schulters.
Outstanding job by Schulters. Perfect coverage. Everyone knew from the preseason that this young man had the hitting ability to replace Merton Hanks, a longtime favorite. They didn't know if he had the coverage ability, but he showed it on that play there.
Schulters made his first start at free safety last week. 4th-round draft pick last season out of Hofstra.
Loves to go back to his hometown of Brooklyn, New York, in the offseason.
So he likes the East Coast a lot better than the West Coast.
Well, he likes the food better.
Another bad snap, and Tommy Barnhart takes it up to the 38, close to a first down.
Boy, that's a tough spot right there.
Kendall Gammon is the deep snapper for the Saints.
You know, that's a spot you almost might want to challenge. So, on the replay,
Barnhart just short.
We'll get a look at it. You're right, another bad snap, but they're in that dirt. They're in that mud dirt area.
That was close.
Well, he tries to get it out here, and the ball stopped. The ball is marked where his knee. That's a good spot by the official. Excellent spot, because his left knee or his right knee was down, and the ball was well short of the first down.
So each team with a poor snap on a punt from the dirt. Now Young back to work from the Saints 37. Garner. No gain. Mark Fields, the first Saint.
Whenever you see a linebacker making a tackle behind the line of scrimmage, it's a blitz. And there are two kinds of blitzes. A lot of people think blitz is all about the passing game, but a lot of teams, especially the Saints, will blitz on rundown. It's called a run blitz, and that's what Mark Fields did on that last play.
Second down, Young with the play fake, takes off, penalty marker.
Steve Young, that hurts. He's hobbling. That's what that dirt does. That's like concrete out there with about a half-inch of dust sprinkled on it. And when he went down, Leroy Glover clipped his leg, and when he went down right on the knee.
Holding, offense, number 65. It's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
This stuff here is as hard as asphalt. It looks like dirt. You'd think it'd be like like walking around in your garden, but it's not.
2-minute warning from San Francisco, tied at 14. 2 minutes to go. First half from San Francisco following the penalty. 2nd and 19 for the 49ers. Young under pressure. Gets it away. Garner with second effort. Down to the 40. A gain of 6.
Mark Fields is mad with himself. And he should be, because if you see 25 out there, you have got to go low. You have got to wrap up on his legs. Because if you just hit him up top high, even if you're as strong and fast as Mark Fields is. See, here's Fields out here. He's got the coverage on him. Look at the hit. I mean, he has a great hit on Charlie Garner. But when Garner sees the impact, he's going to spin on you, and he's not going to lose his feet unless you wrap up on his ankles.
49ers spread the field. 4 wide receivers. 3rd and 13. Young dumps it off. Lawrence Phillips close to the first down marker. Keith Mitchell made the stop. And we'll see where the officials spot it. Just short, and the fans want the Niners to go for it.
You know, I don't know if Lawrence Phillips and or Charlie Garner is going to be Mariucci's replacement for Garrison Hurst. That's tough to do. But I tell you what, we have seen Charlie Garner do a great job running the ball today, and we've seen Lawrence Phillips be very valuable to Steve Young as an underneath receiver who can catch the ball and then turn upfield. Xavier Uralian there, the defensive coordinator for the Saints. And he calls a very aggressive defensive game plan, but when you're standing next to Mike Ditka, you better you better turn it loose. I don't think Ditka would have it any other way.
3 wideouts, Phillips the lone back. Here's Phillips.
Well, if he got it, Lawrence Phillips deserves a lot of credit, because Sammy Knight, the strong safety for the Saints, hit him in the backfield. I think he did get it.
No indication yet from the officials. Here come the chains.
It was the right call defensively. Bring the safety, bring him up, have him shoot through. He shot through, but Phillips won the battle against Sammy Knight.
So now the 49ers with a new set of downs, only 47 seconds remaining in the first half.
And now they're back to their 3 wide receivers. I think this is the strength of their offense, with these 3 guys out there.
From the 27, quick drop, and the pass deflected by Troy Wilson.
Hey, he's really showing up today. Yeah, they're kind of a quiet bunch off the field, but they make a lot of noise on it.
3 wideouts, 2nd and 10. And Young's pass is picked off. Ashley Ambrose. What an addition to the Saints defense Ambrose has been, coming over from the Cincinnati Bengals.
You know, you gotta like Ashley Ambrose. When they made that move on paper, you said to yourself, hey, they've got Drakeford and Alex Molden, 2 solid cornerbacks. Ambrose not only came in to be a starter, but he is the best thing about this Saints passing defense. Look at that play there. And he just makes the perfect break on the football. He reads the pattern. He knows, hey, it's Steve Young to Jerry Rice on the crossing pattern. I'm going to break on it, take a chance, go get it, and he does.
And Ambrose, like Jerry Rice, out of Mississippi Valley State.
You know, there's 2 kinds of cornerbacks in the NFL. The brazen guys and the quiet guys. Ambrose is a quiet guy who gets the job done.
Holbert looking for Kennison. No flags. Darnell Walker back in the game on the coverage.
You got to credit Darnell Walker for good coverage here against Eddie Kennison. You know, Kennison is a speed guy, and the knock on him is then that it's tough for him to get off the line. So he has no press there, but Walker respects his speed. He stays very deep, and he positions himself over the top. And Holbert wants a pass interference penalty.
Saints with all 3 timeouts.
Darnell Walker did a nice job playing the ball.
Ricky Williams and Norton. Norton has been all over Williams.
Yeah, he has. He's saying welcome to the NFL. Norton is trying his best to intimidate Ricky Williams. But the best thing about that play for Ken Norton was the instincts that he used. He knew it was a screen right from the very start. The Saints didn't have a chance running that play. Norton was right. You just feel it. Something inside you says this is a screen. Look at where he is. He's already past the blocker when the ball gets there. And he takes Ricky Williams and really body slams him to the turf. Then he gives him a little shove there. He's definitely trying to get inside Ricky Williams' head.
They have added 2 seconds. 7 seconds remaining in the first half. 49ers call timeout to stop the clock.
I'll tell you what I like about Ricky Williams. He's a quiet guy. He's kind of off to himself, but you can tell that there's a fire burning inside this young man. There's a fire burning inside of him. And if he gets it going.
Holbert airing it out, picked off. Mark McMillan. Shoved out of bounds by Keith Poole as time expires in the first half. McMillan, the former Saint, with the interception. We are tied at 14. The Visa halftime report is next after this. And a word from your local Fox station. Tied at 14 as we get set for the start of the third quarter. Kenny Albert with Tim Green, both quarterbacks leading a pair of touchdown drives.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's surprised that Steve Young is back on track and playing as well as he is. But I think a lot of people are surprised about the Saints quarterback, Billy Joe Hobert, who has really looked outstanding. He's throwing the ball well. And while Ricky Williams had a slow start, his first 7 carries, only 10 yards, over the last 4 carries, he's been getting 5 yards a clip.
And let's take a look now at first half highlights.
This is the 49ers' first scoring play. It's Steve Young to Terrell Owens. He shows his strength. He runs over the strong safety and gets it in. Hobert answers the call. He comes right back with a short pass. And then here's Hobert to Keith Poole, his favorite wide receiver. And then the 49ers answering again with this short run by Tommy Vardell.
Wade Ritchie kicking off to begin the second half. Troy Davis across the 20 to the 21-yard line. 12-yard return by Davis. And just moments ago, our sideline reporter Jamie Williams had a chance to chat with Mike Ditka.
All right, Coach, it might as well be 0-0 score for the New Orleans Saints right now. What do you got to do to win this half?
We got to take over and play football. I mean, they don't know us. They're a good football team. We think we're a good football team. Go out and play our game, see what happens. That's fun. This has got to be the greatest thing in the world. You're a football player. You got to love this.
Well, it looks like Billy Joe Hobert is playing a lot better than the critics predicted.
Well, the critics don't mean much, you know. It's the guys who are in the arena, the guys who are busting their butts down. Forget the critics. Don't ever be a critic.
All right, Coach, thank you. Back to you, Kenny.
Thanks, Jamie. Ricky Williams with his longest run as a pro, 14 yards.
I'll tell you what, he shows something on this play. Watch the speed and the acceleration. Hey, Ricky Williams may have found his groove. Watch him here. It's a quick slant play to the outside. Look at him accelerate through the hole. Now watch what he does. Put that shoulder down. Wham! Lance Schulters on your back. That's no easy task. Schulters is a hitter.
Kennison in motion, first down from the 36. Williams this time cutting left, gains 2 up to the 38 as we check out the numbers from the first half.
Kenny, so far this game is almost dead even. It is dead even. It's 14-14 and the stats show it. Neither team doing terribly well on the ground. Both quarterbacks looking pretty good, 100 yards in the air. Turnovers haven't been a huge factor, and the time of possession is pretty even.
Second and 8. Hobert over the top, wide open. The tight end, Cam Cleland. His first reception of the day to the 49ers, 36, a gain of 26 yards.
I will tell you right now that one of the 49er linebackers absolutely blew their coverage, because Cam Cleland comes right releases right here late. It's a sneaky play. The ref does a nice job of ducking, but look how much space Cleveland's got. Cleveland adds another dimension to this football team. He gives them a tight end that can really get open downfield in the passing game.
He led the Saints interceptions last year with 54. Ricky Williams down to the 32.
Hey, Ricky Williams is starting to play football. He got cracked so hard by Junior Bryant on that play there. You can hear it from up here. You can almost feel it from up here. But you know what he did? Instead of crumpling, he spun. He picked up an extra yard. Ricky Williams is starting to get it going. Look at that. First 7 rushes, 10 yards. Last 7, 41 yards. I'm going to do the math. That's 7 yards a carry, almost. Great job.
Very good. Holbrook's pass is caught by Keith Poole. He was down. The ground caused the fumble. Another first down for the Saints, a gain of 11.
Hey, this is a nice job by the Saints, starting to mix it up. They need to put pressure on the cornerbacks. They need to force the 49ers into 7-man fronts to help Ricky Williams. Here's Mark McMillan here. He's got a over-the-top coverage on Poole. He's got only help underneath. Poole does a nice job hanging on to that play.
First and 10 from the 22. And a loss of 1.
Rehab. He is